Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Rekindle Your Soul with Jody. Today I'd like to talk about something that'll hopefully help bring life into a different perspective and allow you to take a step back in your circumstances and in your situations and to be able to have a little bit more clarity as you navigate through the hard times and the challenges that we face on a regular basis. So, we are spiritual beings here to experience what it's like to be in the human physical form. So, because of this, we feel separated from our soul selves. We feel a disconnect. We feel like we are missing something. We feel like we are always searching for something more, but we can't quite put our finger on what more is. Sometimes we're always trying to navigate through life, and sometimes we end up having the perfect life and having everything we've ever wanted and ever dreamed of, yet we still feel like something's missing and we don't quite understand what it is that we're searching for and what it is that we want. But in another perspective, what we are searching for is that connection to our soul selves. We are, as spiritual beings, we are not used to being so disconnected. We're not used to being in this ego mind, in this physical body, on this heavy, dense planet. We are used to being able to communicate telepathically. We're used to being full of light and love and being able to spread that to our fellow spiritual beings and in other realms. So this planet is to help us evolve, help our spiritual selves evolve, help our soul beings evolve into a higher state of enlightenment, and to bring more experience and more wisdom to the collective of the spiritual beings. So really, this all depends on what you believe in. I'm not trying to convince you of something you don't agree with, but maybe this can give you a little bit different perspective on how to navigate your life each day. So, because we are spiritual beings, and we have actually, before we decided to come into this physical body, we sat down with our entire spiritual team and decided what our life is going to be like. We always have free will. That is part of the human existence. But we wrote out our entire plan, and we wrote out certain circumstances that we're going to experience. We wrote out certain lessons that we wanted to learn in this lifetime. We have worked with an entire team, not only our own spiritual our spirit team, but we've also written out with other spiritual beings that have reincarnated on earth at this time in order to, as a collective, learn and grow and evolve. So let me take a step back again and say that because we sat down and wrote all this out and we've chosen which experiences we're going to experience, now I can see how this is frustrating because there's so many really horrible things that happen to us or to other people, and it's so hard to understand. It's so hard for us to grasp. Why would we choose this experience, or why would we choose for that to happen to somebody? There's so many questions of why, and in our physical body, we cannot grasp that. Our human mind cannot grasp the concepts of what it's like to be in the spiritual realm fully, and why we would choose what we choose. But every single circumstance is a learning point, is a turning point, and is a growth point in our life. So if our lives were happy, blissful, perfect all the time, when would we grow? And when would we learn? And how would we find our inner strength? And what would push us to want to have a spiritual connection? Because even though we're born with that when we come to earth, as we start to get a little bit older, we begin to lose that connection. We begin to become distant and completely disconnected from source, from spirit. And then it takes us the rest of our lifetime to learn and be pushed to open that connection back up. So we're constantly searching for something in ourselves or something out in the world, and we don't necessarily know what it is. But really, if you think about the fact that you are the spiritual being, you are constantly searching for that soul connection, for that spiritual enlightenment, for that spiritual love, for that understanding and connection that you really are something so much more than this physical being and this human ego, this human mind. So I just really would love for you to take a step back and look at your life over your entire lifetime and see what circumstances you have had to face in life and how many times you have felt that you were down so much that there was no possible way to get back up, yet you got back up and you were able to make it a little bit further. And then maybe the same circumstance or something similar or even a different circumstance came back around, and now you're back down at the bottom again and you have to work your way up again. But life is cyclical. So we're always going through these cycles, and we're always learning, and we're always growing. And it's through each cycle that we learn to become stronger and stronger, and eventually we will be able to see the pattern, and we will eventually be able to see that we are so much more than the circumstances that are placed in our path. We are so much more than what this world looks as appearance-wise. We are, because we're spiritual beings, we can connect on such a different level than what is physically surrounding us. So I just would like to ask that, because I wanted to bring this to your attention to help shift your perspective a little bit as we're going through this crazy time in the world, big energy shifts, COVID is happening, and people are losing their jobs and they're losing their relationships, and like everything just seems to be coming to a head right now because of this big energy shift. So as we're working through this process, we're learning to have to connect with our soul selves, and we're learning to have to pay attention to the cycles in our life and pay attention to where we are out of alignment in our soul being and our soul selves. The more we try to live in the way society wants us to, or live in a world that our parents or our siblings or our friends, our peers, our coworkers, our bosses, when everybody else is the one guiding our life, we are completely out of alignment with our spiritual being, with our spiritual selves. And that causes us to stay in a lower vibration, stay in a lower mindset, and always feel a victim mentality. Whether we are a victim or are not a victim is not really the point. The point is that when we allow others to control how we feel about ourselves or control which steps we take next, we lose the direction that we chose to go in before we even came to Earth, because it was all written out. And we have written out multiple timelines. Every second there is another fork in the road. Every second there is another chance to make a different decision. And as hard as that is for our minds to grasp, we have taken the time and written out every single pathway that we can choose. So you are never, ever, ever on the wrong path. You are never in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Everything is always the way it's supposed to be. When we lose loved ones, when we have horrible situations happen to us, none of that is wrong. None of that is out of alignment with the collective. We just have to pay attention to what is out of alignment with ourselves. When we experience these circumstances, we need to pay attention to how we feel inside, and then we need to step towards what feels right for us. And we need to learn and we need to grow from those situations. And then we also need to learn to love ourselves so deeply that we can be comfortable with our soul selves to be able to take those steps forward. And as we learn to be comfortable with ourselves, we can then teach others how to take their steps forward and be comfortable in themselves. So I kind of jumped all over the place, and I hope that this message can help some people get through some of their trying times in life, and just give a little bit of perspective of we are the creators of our own universe. We're the creators of our own reality. And once we become aligned with our soul selves and realize that we are the ones that created this pathway, we can always choose a different pathway. We can always choose something better. We can always choose something different. But we need to focus more on the positive and where we are going to go and where we want to go and where we should be going, instead of focusing on all these lower vibrational negative energies that we're focusing on because of something that has happened in our past, which was never meant to keep us there. It was meant to push us to learn and grow and gain the tools that we needed in order to step up to the next level in our journey. So thank you very much. If you liked what I had to say, please like this video, share, subscribe to my page. I'm still new at the channel, so hopefully we'll see more and more videos coming out. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.